Hello, Omaha, and welcome back to Keep Moving Forward, a table talk for the City of Omaha Human Rights and Relations Department. I'm Lori O'Brien.
And I'm Laura Aite, and we're from the Civil Rights Enforcement Division of our department, which is responsible for the investigation of complaints of discrimination under federal and local laws. And these laws protect individuals from discrimination in housing, employment, and public accommodations. If you believe you've experienced discrimination or you need more information on your housing and employment rights, please contact our office at 402-444-5055, or you can visit our website at humanrights.cityofomaha.org. Thank you for joining us last month when we discussed hot topics in fair housing in honor of Fair Housing Month. And today we would like to introduce our special guest, Shannon Snow.
And Shannon Snow, before joining the Omaha Municipal Land Bank in March of 2020, Shannon was a project development manager at Project Control and managed long-range planning and community engagement at Metropolitan Community College. Shannon also worked in economic development at the Greater Omaha Chamber. Shannon holds a Master of City and Regional Planning from Rutgers University and has an extensive background in managing facility and real estate projects. Shannon's portfolio includes work in the private, nonprofit, and education sectors, and she's also known for her dedication to the community and ability to make plans a reality by applying a data-driven approach. Shannon leverages these experiences as the Land Bank's executive director to carry out efficient real estate improvements and strategic community investments. So welcome, Shannon, to our program today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. We're so excited to have you on the show and learn more about what you do in the Land Bank. And we wondered if you could start with just telling us a little bit about the mission and the core of what the Land Bank does.
Yeah, so the Land Bank, we're a pretty cool organization. We transform Omaha's distressed properties into community assets. And that's a pretty broad mission, right? But how do we do that? We are a quasi-public entity, which means we were established under the laws of the state of Nebraska and an ordinance of the city of Omaha. And through those, we have the ability to, I call it our magic wand, but we extinguish, it's really a board resolution that allows us to extinguish past taxes or any lien that's held by a local government entity, so that when someone purchases a property, their title is clear, which means they don't owe any of those monies to the government before they can develop on it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
that's great. I think, it's really interesting to hear what you do, and I think that a lot of it maybe is not understood. Right. So I'm really glad that we have the opportunity to talk about this. And if you could tell us a little bit about maybe the number of properties you have and where they're located.
Sure.
Yeah, so I want to stress that most of the properties we get have been rejected by the open market. These are properties that have been abandoned by their owners, that just have very little market appeal. So we really strive to take those properties, clean the titles, do what is necessary to get them back into people's hands where they're generating tax revenue. Of those properties, I think it's 89% that are in District 2, which is North Omaha, and almost all of them are in East Omaha. About 99% of our properties are vacant parcels. They've been abandoned for so long that oftentimes if there was a structure, it's been demolished. So.
And when someone does purchase a property from the Land Bank, what are some different things that they might use the property for?
Yeah, so they can really use the property for anything that's allowed by zoning in that area. Most of our property is zoned residential, so we get a lot of homes or multifamily residences, mostly single-family homes. And we also do sell a lot to adjacent property owners. A lot of times people want to extend their property line, or they want to put in a garden. We get some community uses, parks, community food security is a big deal for some of our buyers. So it's really fun to see these properties go back to the community in a way that is positive, productive, and beneficial.
Absolutely. That's really interesting, and I probably wouldn't have even maybe thought of
Right.
some of those uses. So I think that you guys have a really good thing going there.
Absolutely, yes. And then Shannon, I think you talked a little bit about your policies and procedures have recently been updated. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in April, our board updated all of our policies and procedures, which was something we'd been working on for a while. But in light of what's going on in our country right now, we felt it was very important to stress a few things. We, as the land bank, can prioritize the sale of property to certain uses. So it's not always a highest dollar situation. Those uses have been things that are in line with the community plan, affordable housing, so we pick up a lot of our nonprofit partners. But we felt pretty strongly that there was a group missing, and that group was actually the members of the community. So we put in language in our policies that allows us to prioritize buyers from historically redlined communities and legacy residents, as well as buyers with 80% AMI, so they may need some sort of subsidy to get a house, over other buyers. And that puts them at the table with all of these other uses. When we dispose of our property, we do look for a highest and best use. So it doesn't mean that that buyer is always going to get the property, but it means that they have a chance at the property, which is something that we haven't been able to do for them in the past. Since those were passed in April, so it's only been a month, but we have already prioritized 2 sales to people from specifically the North Omaha area. There were situations where we had multiple bidders, and the other bidders were West Omaha. So we were able to keep those properties in the hands of the residents from that community, which I think is incredibly exciting and will help build the wealth in the historically redlined communities, and is pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When I just recently learned about that you guys had done that, I thought that was a great idea, really innovative way to address that. You know, we see there's so many lasting effects from redlining, and it's also, you know, kind of fits in a little bit with what we do with housing discrimination.
Right.
You know, and definitely there is, you know, a big wealth gap in part due to redlining. So that's really an innovative way, I think, to address that for Omaha.
Yeah, I think the other thing I would add is just, I mean, we are a quasi-public entity, and so sometimes changing the rules in that public functioning environment can be a challenge. So I'm really proud of our board for taking those steps.
Right, absolutely.
Yes, definitely. And how exactly did that come about?
We were updating our policies and procedures anyway. We were established in 2015, and we were still operating off the policies and procedures that we had established really before we were functioning. So we were updating them anyway, just to be compliant with how we actually do business, and decided that the time was right to really just have that deep racial equity and wealth building conversation and incorporate it in how we do business. So it was a big win.
Great. Well, congratulations on that work and getting that passed. You had also mentioned, I think, that another prioritization you can do for small and emerging businesses. Is that right?
Yeah, so as we were updating our policies and procedures and living through 2020, we really took a hard look at what our mission is. And at the end of the day, that is wealth building in the communities that we serve. And while we serve all of Omaha, most of our properties are in East Omaha. So we took a page from the city and have adopted your SEB priorities with our vendors. So when it is appropriate, we will be using local vendors and prioritizing the hiring of them over, you know, larger or national vendors. There's still some cases where we may not be able to get an Omaha, you know, based company, but that's really cool because if you think about it, you know, we have $1 million budget, and if we can take even a piece of that and direct it back,
Yes.
to the community, that has an opportunity to really serve our mission of building wealth. So we have all of our Mo vendors right now are East Omaha small businesses, which we're really excited about, and we're continuing to look for how we can redirect spending to small businesses.
And yeah, so you had mentioned similar to the SEB program,
Right.
which is also in the OHRD
Yes.
department, and then they also have another show called The Business of Business for the
Yes.
city of Omaha.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to learn more about that program. And another thing we wanted to ask you about was you had mentioned a new program launching soon. I believe it was the Ambassador program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this one we are also very excited about. This is hitting many challenges that we have at the land bank. So we are a quasi-public organization, which means that our board is appointed, but it also means that we have laws, or our board is appointed by the mayor, but we also have laws dictating who can serve on our board. I say it's the 100th level of Tetris. We have 6 professional requirements in 7 city council districts that we have to fill for our voting members. Mm-hmm. And you have to know the exact right person to fill the spot. Additionally, the land bank is very technical. We foreclose. We have a lot of things that require basic understanding to be able to make decisions on behalf of the organization. And we don't have staff capacity to talk to our community. So we
Right.
really need to build some advocates out there and start sharing the word about what we're doing and how we do things so the community can have access. So when we took this list of challenges along with an idea that was brought to us actually by someone in your department to have an ambassador program, what happened was this really cool program was developed, and it will be launching in July. And this is going to be a leadership style program. It'll be structured like our board, so we'll have participants from, at least one participant from each of the 7 city council districts with an interest in real estate.
Wow.
And while we will be prioritizing if all things are equal, we will be prioritizing DEI type factors. We do encourage everyone to apply though. The goal of this program is to really give people a foundation about what the land bank is, expose them to it, allow them to be advocates for us. But at the end of the day, what we would love to do is increase the number of applicants to our board and hopefully get a little more diversity
Yes.
in those applicants.
Right. So important.
Yeah.
Really important.
So when the mayor goes to choose, she has money to choose from.
Absolutely.
So
That's great.
Now, do you want to talk about, too, another exciting program that you're going to have coming up, One Stop Shop?
yeah, so this is a game changer.
You have so many exciting things going on.
Yeah, we do. It's great. So part of what we did last year is go through an assessment about the barriers to acquire land bank property specifically for housing. And what we discovered are we had some barriers to deal with access to information, but a lot of the barriers aren't ours. They're financing. Mm-hmm. It's finding a builder. It's things that the land bank can't solve for a person. So we end up referring people to our partners. Well, that puts a lot of pressure on that buyer to make sure that they're calling the financing partner, that they're connecting with the builder. And in our discovery there's 6 other nonprofits that are coming on and partnering with us. But in our discovery with them, we found out that we all stay in our lane really, really well. But our clients are going somewhere and they have to change lanes. And for us to follow up, it's just a lot of work. For me to call, Spark or Reach and
Right.
follow up on a client, that's 10 minutes out of my day, and if I have to follow up with 40 of them,
Right, that's so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
too much.
yeah, there's no time. So what we are doing with the support of Freddie Mac. They have funded our first phase of this. Is we are currently doing discovery in a version 1 of what we're calling a one-stop shop. And that is going to be an entry point for anybody that's interested in purchasing. And right now it'll be a land bank property, but really anyone that's interested in building or purchasing a home. And we'll take their information and we'll put them on the path towards home ownership with whatever partner they're ready for at that stage in time. Obviously, as the land bank, we hope that someday they will buy our property and put a house on it, but we also realize that they may not be ready for that step.
Right.
And even just connecting them with a FAS or a NIFA or any of the other partners would help our community in home ownership and just help them be successful.
Right. And be self-sufficient, which is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
of course. I think that's, a confusing process for many people, buying a home, and then if you're adding on to that, building a home or building a property on a land and finding financing, it can be really daunting for people.
Right. Right.
So this will be great for the community. And so it sounds like you're bringing, so much to the land bank and then also to the Omaha community as well. So that's really exciting.
Absolutely. And how many properties do you have right now?
Yeah, so our inventory on average is about 350 properties listed for sale or available for purchase. We hover, last year it got closer to 300. I think right now we're closer to 400.
Wow.
So it's a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now those are mostly land.
Yeah, 99% of our property is vacant.
Right.
When we get a structure, it goes fast, so.
Right, yes. And so if someone out there is interested in acquiring a property from the land bank, how would they go about applying for that?
Yeah, the application's on our website at omahalandbank.org. There's a orange button right now in the top right hand that says properties. They can click that to view our properties and get the link to the online application. We are updating our website, so that may change, but if anyone has questions, they can also call us and one of our staff will walk them through the process.
Great.
Wonderful.
So anything else that you think you'd like to tell us or the viewers out there that you think is important about the land bank or maybe the collaborations that you're working with the other nonprofits in Omaha?
Yeah, I think, when I think about the land bank in the last year, it's been amazing, and we have sort of done a 180 as an organization and really taken this community focus to heart. That is something that is coming from the board, which is very exciting. So I think, as we look at our future projects and how we're interacting and how we're entering partnerships, the community and the community impact and accessibility to the community, which is something that, I feel like we've always been successful in reaching them, but maybe not in communicating how they can acquire property or the resources that are available. Those are things that are really a focus for us this year. And I think the other thing that's exciting is a lot of this, we're finally at a point, we're old enough that we know how to do it. So it's not a reflection on anyone that came before that we're making these changes. It's just, we're at a point that we understand the direction and what needs to happen in the future. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, of course. And you had, I think, mentioned that land banks, municipal land banks are maybe going to be happening more often nationally.
Yeah, so there's a lot of chatter about land banking at the national level. I don't know the exact number of land banks off the top of my head. I think it's about 260. Mm-hmm. Most of them are located on the East Coast. Oh, okay. But Vice President Harris is a huge fan of land banking and has brought this conversation up to the national level. So we are expecting to see some additional guidance come through about land banking and land banks and an interest in growth in land banks moving forward, which is incredibly exciting
Yes.
for us.
Yes, get the word out.
Yes.
Yes.
It's just incredibly exciting for us as a community because we already have one. And to be positioned to be successful in an environment, in a political environment where we are getting so much interest and support is exciting. I guess the other thing I'll mention on this is that last year the legislature actually passed some legislation making land banks available to all of Nebraska. So we're pretty excited.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. We are pretty excited to see, what the rest of the state does with this. So.
Right, and so do you know anything about like how that or when that will be implemented?
I know there are several communities looking at them. To my knowledge, nobody has passed local legislation yet to allow them. So they're all passed at the state level. The law is the state law is the enabling legislation, but it still requires a local ordinance.
Right.
So I know I think there's 3 that are looking at passing that locally, and I think it'll be great for the rural communities.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. That's a good point. This is all actually really new to me,
Right.
and so I think it's so interesting to learn about this and to hear the developments in what you're doing, and then also and across the state of Nebraska and nationally. So I find this very interesting.
Me too. And what a great use of that land to put it to use.
Yeah, and it's we don't always know what to do with these properties.
I know, right.
A lot of them can't be sold.
Right.
So, we just had a conversation in the hall that I won't reference the content, but someone had an idea for something to do on our lots. And I welcome those conversations because anything we can do to have them benefit the community is within our mission and within what we want to do.
That's awesome.
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's such an innovative way to help the community, promote economic development, and grow wealth in more underrepresented communities. So congratulations again on all the work that you've done.
Right.
And I think we are possibly about out of time.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you again for being the guest on the show
Yes.
today. And
Yes.
I think that there's probably more that we could learn.
Right.
So if anybody wants to know more information, we'll have the website on the screen here and also the phone number that can call to get more information on the land bank.
Yes. Thank you, Shannon, for being here.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah.
So.
And be sure to join us next month when we will be focusing on LGBTQ issues and achievements, as June is Pride Month. And lastly, if you believe you have been a victim of discrimination, please contact our office at 402-444-5055 or visit our website at humanrights.cityofomaha.org. I'm Lori O'Brien.
And I'm Laura Ayite, and this has been Keep Moving Forward.